Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today I'm going to be talking about, well, the elephant in the room. So I've been gone for about 3 uploads now, so about a week and a bit, maybe even a little bit longer, because I have been having some medical issues. These medical issues are something I really want to talk about because I think it's going to really affect how my channel moves forward in the future. So let's get right into it. I have always had significant hearing loss, severe to profound, in my left ear. In my right ear, it's always been pretty normal, but recently I stopped being able to hear out of it as well as before. So it didn't become like, oh my gosh, I can't hear completely out of it suddenly. It was just not as good. And my left ear, it was getting worse. I couldn't hear anything out of it. So I thought maybe it was blocked by something. It could be earwax, it could be fluid behind the ear, it could be, not behind the ear, behind the eardrum. There are tons of reasons, So I thought it was something that would just, go away on its own. Well, it wasn't going away on its own. So I decided that I needed to go into urgent care and figure out what the heck's going on, because your ears are kind of important if the only way you know how to communicate is through hearing and through speech. I know a little bit of ASL, which is American Sign Language, but I don't really know enough to have a full-blown conversation. So if I had completely lost my hearing, I wouldn't be able to communicate at all unless it was just with, pen and paper or text or something like that. But I decided I needed to go into urgent care because at first, when it actually started with my left ear, not being able to hear out of it, like it was kind of gone. And I wasn't that concerned because I was like, hey, I've never been able to hear out of that ear very well. So what if Allah has taken the hearing from it? But that's probably not the best line of reasoning, like the best way of thinking about things. But it was how I thought about things. But when the right ear stopped working as well, that's when I was like, should I be concerned? I think I should be concerned. So, like I said, I went in. They did an ear cleaning and they checked everything out, and they discovered that in my right ear there was some scarring on the eardrum. I've had a few ear infections as an adult, and they think that that's probably where it came from. And I recently had an ear infection, so they think that potentially that could have contributed to what's going on right now. Side note, it was actually quite interesting because after an ear cleaning, usually you can hear better. Not only could I not hear better, I heard a little bit worse. So that was fun. So basically what happened is they said, you need to see an audiologist. So I got an emergency audiologist appointment, and I needed to go in and get my hearing tested. And turns out, who am I? Deaf. In this ear, oh my goodness, it had gone down it had gotten worse significantly. And in this ear, I actually, instead of having normal hearing, I had mild hearing loss. They were a little bit concerned, mostly because they were thinking, this isn't exactly consistent with your history. You shouldn't be getting progressively deaf, but however, that looks like it could be what's happening. But that's really weird considering that your hearing has stayed the same for what, 27 years now? Yeah, I'm 27. So it stayed the same for 27 years until today, where suddenly something happened. So I've been in and out of the doctor's office and doing all these visits, and I haven't really had a lot of time to actually sit down, make videos. I had all of these grand plans, but I'm gonna have to, push them out a little bit. But that's what's been going on. And I actually have plans to learn some ASL so that I can better communicate with the world. Also, I'm going to be getting hearing aids, and that leads me to something very interesting. I am planning on, as a lot of you know, creating my own hijab line, but this time I want to create it with the deaf Muslima in mind, because there isn't a lot of resources on how to wear your hearing aids with hijab. And there are actually a lot of interesting ways to do it that I found through one video, and I decided, well, why not make this more obvious and accessible to people and have them not have to modify their own clothing. They can just get the items that they need. And of course, I will be keeping in mind my hearing customers as well, but I do really want to focus on people who need accessibility when it comes to the hijab. Again, there are some startup costs that I'll need to figure out before I can truly begin the business. But until then, I'm going to be practicing with my designs and sewing and making sure that everything is how I have it envisioned before I start actually producing things for people to buy. Another quick thing I want to mention is that I'm going to be trying to caption all my videos. So it's going to be labor intensive. Fingers crossed that this video is actually captioned by the time it goes out. If it is, you'll see in the title, it'll say, there'll be brackets, and inside the brackets, it'll say CC. And all you have to do is click the CC button, and those are the letters C, by the way. And just click the CC button and you'll have the closed captions down below. I want to make this accessible to people who can't hear or have a hard time hearing. And I'm going to try and do that for all my videos. It's going to be very labor intensive because I'm not doing auto captions. I am going to be making the captions myself. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. So I know this has been a bit of a shorter video, but I plan on having, our regular length videos out. The next video hopefully will be out on Monday. It should be, and it will be all about Ramadan and what to do if you personally cannot fast. So keep looking for that video, and it was great to be back. It's great to be back, and I really hope that you're glad that I'm back too. You can find me on Instagram right here if you're so inclined. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Well, if you've got any questions, comments, or snide remarks, put them down in the comment section below. All right, have a great day. Bye.